Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the first DFS Crunch Time live stream. Today we'll go over the season opener with Chris Air DFS, and I'm excited for the first game, season opener. It's been a while, and our tool's finally ready for the first time for the season debut. We didn't have that last season. We started, I think, midway through the season we had it open. But we got like a full season to use it this year, so that's pretty excited. How do you feel, Chris?
Yeah, we have a nice little opening day slate here. Like you said, we had the tool working for a few months at the end of last year, and it was really good. We had really good results. Projections were on fire. So yeah, we have to do it all over again.
Let's get it. Okay, so today we only have a 2-game slate, a little bit small, but still fun to play. I think you typically say you like to play lighter on your cash games in the smaller slates, right?
Yeah, so since we only have 2 games, we can probably talk about more strategy before we dive into the games, because we'll probably only talk about them for like 15 minutes. So yeah, like you said, on these 2-game slates, I like to play GPP more, especially today. There's going to be a lot of overlay. Like, if you look at the Fanduel lobby, their big $3 contest is like half full. So, like, that's definitely not going to fill. I'm probably going to max that after the show. And yeah, it basically turns into a double up with the top prizes at $1 million. So
yeah, overlay just means that
definitely smart to take advantage of the overlay.
Yeah, overlay just means that there's is a guaranteed prize pool, and then the contest doesn't get filled up all the way, right? So they pay out more people.
Yeah, so they have like a contest for 900,000 people, but right now there's only 500,000 entries, so it's 50% full.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I probably project it to get like 700k, 800k entries, so there's definitely going to be like free money on the table.
Yeah, so that's like bankroll management strategy right there. Before getting in the games, I got some good bankroll tips from Chris.
Yep.
Okay, so do you want to go over the Brooklyn game first? Brooklyn versus Golden State?
Yeah, that's the first one, right?
Yeah, let's do it. I'll open it on the tool here. I already have it. Okay, so you said we don't have the starters yet. None of them are confirmed. We're not going to get that during the show, but I guess we can project who we think is going to start based on, I guess, preseason and just what you know about the team. So right now we have, for Brooklyn, we have Irving starting at point guard, Dinwiddie shooting guard, Harris small forward, DeAndre Jordan center, and then of course Kevin Durant. I'm pretty excited to watch this game because it's Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. They haven't played together yet. So.
Also Kevin Durant's homecoming. Not homecoming, but first time against his old team.
Oh yeah, that too. Narrative Street too.
He said something like, Golden State will always be in my heart, or something weird like that a few days ago. I don't have the exact quote.
He said there's no like animosity or something. Golden State likes him, so they're left on friendly terms, I think, right?
Yeah, but do you think he has a better game because of this? Like, how do you think he'll handle it?
I mean, when was the last time we saw him play?
In the finals against your Raptors.
Yeah, so that was a while ago.
Like 500 days?
That was a while ago, so I think he's probably excited to play himself, like first game in a long time, over a season, right?
Yeah, he looked really good in the preseason. Like,
yeah,
really
he
good.
Probably had time to do like a full proper rehab and everything, so I think he'll do well. Maybe not, I don't think the narrative plays much into it myself, but
he was even in that Drake video. Do you see that?
Which one?
With Laugh Now, Cry Later with what's his name?
Lil Baby? Or,
No, not Lil Baby. The other guy, Lil Durk.
oh yeah, yeah.
And he looked good there, and he looked good in the preseason. So
On Drake's defense.
yeah, we don't have any minute restriction. I don't think so.
Oh yeah.
Should be good.
Yeah. So what do you think of this? The Brooklyn Nets. What do you think of their roster? So it's a completely new team than what they had last season.
Yeah, they look good. They have like I would say core 8-9 guys that they'll play in their rotation. So there's a lot of like fantasy value in this game with this team. They have the higher over under on the slate. What is it at? Do you know? Let me check real quick. Yeah, so it's at 234. So compared to the other game, which is at 219, so this game is definitely a good one to target.
More scoring, more fantasy production.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, and then I guess we can go over Golden State because they're also kind of a new team. They have Curry back. Klay Thompson got hurt, so he's out.
Yeah, it's also interesting. They got Wiggins now with Curry and Oubre, so we'll have to see how they go, how they play together.
So right now for Golden State, who do you think? Like right now, I have Curry starting, Oubre, Wiggins, Wiseman, and Pascal. What do you think is gonna happen? Who do you think's gonna? Like this team's a little bit different because they only have one All-Star pretty much starting, right? I don't know if you count Wiggins as an All-Star.
Yeah, so that means I think Curry's gonna get a lot of shots. He had a crazy usage rate in the preseason. He played. Let me check. He played like 28 minutes. He was shooting 20 plus shots. So if he sees 35 minutes, he'll probably shoot like mid 20s in shots, which is insane. And then he gets his assists. So he's probably a lock. Like if we had to pick one lock for this slate, it's probably Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
Yeah. So, but we could probably dive deeper into this game, like position by position.
Yeah, we can do that.
That was just like a general overview.
Yeah. You said Curry's going to take, like, you think 20 shots? That's what he did in the preseason?
Well, yeah, he was playing like 28 minutes and shooting like 20 to 23 times per game. So if he gets to 35 minutes, he's probably going to shoot like 25 to 28 shots.
Do you know what he shot like in the previous years on average? Or
well, last year before he went down, he also had a crazy usage rate. And he wasn't putting up big fantasy scores, but I think he was getting like a little unlucky. His shot was off, but he only played a few games before he got hurt.
And he looked good in the preseason too, Curry?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't care how they look if they play the minutes, if they get the shots. Like if he shoots 25 shots for only, what is he, 9K?
9.3 on DraftKings.
Yeah, and what is he, 9 on Fanduel?
An open
so
Fanduel.
Like if we get that, that's probably like Luka usage. So we're getting like a 2K discount on him.
Yeah, he's 8.7 on Fanduel. That's pretty cheap. And
yeah,
I think, is he the number one projected ownership on our tool?
Yeah,
I think so.
He probably is. Yeah,
it's gotta be. We have him at 57 right now.
I mean, the position is like, since it's a 2-game slate, there's not many people in each position. So on Fanduel, like, you have to pick between probably Curry, Irving. I wouldn't play Lou Will in a cash game. Pat Bev, I like Pat Bev for his price. So yeah, we have to remember it's a 2-game slate, so the scarcity of the position matters. Yeah. So like a play like Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving's probably going to pop a lot as well, just because there's not a lot of great value down low.
Yeah. Do you want to go over quickly over the lineups, starting lineups for the Clippers-Lakers game? Let's do that, yeah. And then I guess after we do that, we can go over position by position and just talk about, like, for the whole slate, who we like for point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, well, let's just quickly go over the last game here, the Clipper-Laker game. Are there any good narratives today in that game?
I'm not a big narratives guy, so that's for you to tell me.
Well, I guess there's Montrez, right? He's playing. against his old team.
Yeah, and we also have the matchup that everyone was looking forward to in the Western Conference Finals that never happened because the Nuggets beat the Clippers in the semis, which was surprising.
Did LeBron downplay? He's probably downplaying this matchup though today.
Well, I mean, I think there's more pressure on the Clippers. They're the ones that didn't make it to reach the Lakers.
That's true. Do you think they'll play a bit better today? Like, do you think they'll take this game a bit more seriously, even though it's like, I guess, just the first game of the season?
It's opening day, which usually means like they have national TV coverage.
So opening day is typically taken more seriously than like a regular.
Yeah, like a regular Tuesday night.
Yeah.
In the NBA, yeah, definitely, because you got national TV. It's like probably similar to Christmas Day, like all eyes on the NBA,
which is coming up soon, so that'll be fun. Okay, so for Clippers, we have Beverly at point guard, Paul George shooting guard. We have Patterson here at power forward, Ibaka, and Leonard.
I think there was a tweet. Let me see this real quick. So according to NBA TV, it's supposed to be, or it's going to be Ibaka and Zubac in the front court, not Patrick Patterson.
Okay. Should be.
I think it makes sense to match the bigs of the Lakers. They're going to start AD and Gasol.
Yeah. Lakers. So we have Schroeder, Pope, LeBron James, Gasol, and Davis. Actually, about narratives, the Ibaka-Gasol matchup is kind of going to be interesting, I guess, right?
I mean, I don't think it's interesting for anyone except you as a Raptors fan.
You don't think they'll try a bit harder against each other?
No, I honestly don't. I think that Zubac's going to match up with Gasol, and they'll throw Ibaka on AD.
Yeah, probably. I don't think Gasol's probably a bit slow for AD.
Yeah, it should be a good game. It's like they're pretty big rivals.
Yeah,
but like I said earlier, this game has a over/under of only 219 compared to the other one, which is 234. So there's definitely going to be more. I think there's going to be more fantasy points in the other one.
Yep.
But this game only has a spread of 2.5 right now, so there's a higher chance that it stays competitive compared to the other one.
And typically, if it stays competitive, that just means the starters will get more minutes. Will play more.
Yeah, that's all we want. We just want, like, if we're playing DFS, the main thing we want to take away our biases and play the guys who are going to get a lot of minutes. And then if we can get guys who are playing a lot of minutes that have the ball a lot, like Steph Curry in the last game, KD, Kyrie, Ron, AD, like these top guys, they play a lot and they have the ball in their hands a lot. So that's what makes them really good plays.
Okay. I guess. Okay. Now, I mean it's only 2 games, so that's it for today. So I guess we can talk about. I think
we can go position by position and just on both sites. So we can start with FanDuel and just generally go through it. So like I was talking about earlier, point guard, you're sorting by salary. So there's how many viable plays are there here if we actually think about it? There's Curry, Irving, Lou Will, Pat Bev. That's it. Everyone else is like, we project them for sub 6% ownership.
Yeah,
like,
or nothing.
The only way that they will get there is if it's a blowout or if there's an injury.
So something weird happens pretty much.
Yeah, something
an anomaly.
We can't expect to happen.
Which, when you're playing cash games, that's you don't want to base your whole lineup off of that. You want to have things that are kind of more predictable, reliable.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So if I'm playing cash games, Lou Williams I'll probably take out of my pool.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of like, he can get there, but he also can get you 10 points. Like, he's very scoring reliant. So, well, actually, now that I think about it, Marcus Morris is out, so he could get a little more opportunity.
Bump his usage rate a bit?
Yeah, but that's probably, like I said, that's probably more if I'm building GPPs.
Yeah, and then, okay, so if you're playing GPPs, would you consider anyone else? Like, would you consider like a Caruso, Wanamaker, Jordan Poole?
No way.
Nobody else at all?
Mm-mm.
Like, there's no... There's no like strange.
Build a 20 entry max later, so you can just exclude them from this build.
Okay.
I don't want to touch any of them.
Okay, so should we build a lineup now for like a cash one right now, or should we just go through that?
No, let's just go over the positions first.
Okay.
We have a lot of time. We still have like 45 minutes to kill.
Okay, and then shooting guard. What do you like here? What do you see? Who's viable here? Cash viable?
We probably have Paul George, Andrew Wiggins. Dinwiddie is kind of a question mark. Like, Karis LeVert can come in for him, and then Dinwiddie can sit a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't really love him.
Well,
Shooter is a question mark as well. He had the ankle injury. It's his first game back. We don't know how many minutes he's gonna get. He's probably gonna start. KCP, I hate playing KCP. He's just awful. Scoring reliant. Usually misses. I don't want to play KCP. On Fanduel, yeah. And then we got Luke Canard. Luke Canard is better on DraftKings. He's like 3.6.
Yep.
Which I don't mind at all. He was actually popping in some of our optimals on DraftKings. And he signed that. What was that deal he signed?
Canard?
Yeah, he signed it like a few days ago. It was like 64 million. Yeah, 4 years, 64 million. So he got that Mozgov money.
Is that a little bit too much for Luke Canard?
Well, that means they like him. So
how old is
he? If they like him, he's probably a decent play, especially for his price on DK.
A juicy contract for Luke Canard. He definitely did well for himself, right?
I mean, he's a good player. He played like 20 games last year, so he had some injury problems.
Okay. So pretty much for shooting guard.
Yeah, shooting guard is it's more deep than, I would say point guard and center are pretty thin. Shooting guard is relatively deep for this 2-game slate.
Yeah.
We have more viable options for both cash and GPP.
Okay. And then
if I'm playing a cash game, I know everyone hates him, but Paul George is like, I really like Paul George today.
Playoff P? Well, it's not the playoffs, so he might do well.
Yeah, no Marcus Morris, which is really nice for Paul George. He gets a usage bump. I think he's playing the 2 this year more.
What was he, 3 last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have the small ball. I mean, they have the big lineup with Ibaka and Zubac starting. So it's Pat Bev, Paul George, Kawhi, Ibaka, Zubac. So yeah.
And I guess I don't know if that's do you think that's a good price for him? It's pretty cheap, 7.6 on FanDuel.
I mean, it probably depends how you feel about Paul George. Like I'm a big Paul George guy, so I like this price a lot on both sites.
Would you call him a lock in cash on FanDuel, or?
He's not a lock, but I think the public has they don't want to play Paul George, you know? So I think there's some upside with his ownership. Especially in this big contest, there's going to be a lot of casual people in the, 900k entries on FanDuel.
Yeah. Well, right now, we actually have him projected almost as high as Kyrie Irving. In
terms of ownership? Or?
Yeah, ownership. Around
it's just how the positions are on a 2-game slate. Like,
you think we might see less than that, like in less than 50% in a big GPP for Paul George?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
but I think he should be. I think we'll probably see him at like 60, but I think he should be like 70 to 75%. If I was building, I would put him in 70 to 75%.
Sounds like he's almost a lock then.
Well, it's a 2-game slate, so all these top guys are going to almost be locks.
Yeah, that's true. It depends who you can fit, right? Okay, what about small forward? I think small forward looks pretty interesting on FanDuel.
Yeah, this is a deep position. We have obviously LeBron and Kawhi. which they're the foundation of any lineup that we build. But we also have the cheaper guys. We have Oubre, who's new to the Warriors. Draymond is out, so he should have a better role. And I also wanted to talk about Wiggins a bit, because Draymond is out. We've seen Wiggins get a lot of blocks and steals over the preseason. And obviously you can't project blocks and steals. It's really hard. They're pretty random, but he has long arms. He's pretty active on D. So I think he can get there with blocks and steals.
He gets blocks.
But same with Oubre. Yeah, I think Oubre also has block and steal upside. It's the better game environment between the two games.
Fast paced.
Yeah, it's the higher over under. So I like Oubre a lot too. Going down, we have LeVert, Harris. I like LeVert a lot. If we're building GPPs, we probably want to make a player group where we only include one of LeVert and Dinwiddie in our lineups. Just because I think LeVert will come in for Dinwiddie, so if LeVert is playing well, Dinwiddie won't play well, and vice versa. So they kind of negatively correlate with each other.
Yeah.
Because they both sort of play the two, even though Harris LeVert is listed as a 3 on on Fanduel, I mean.
Yeah. I guess we can go into that a bit more when we start building.
Yeah, we can build, yeah. And then Joe Harris. I think Joe Harris is probably the closest thing to a lock. Like, he also got that big deal, so they clearly like him. He looked great in the preseason. He was shooting a lot, like shooting at will, so he has the trust of KD and Kyrie, which is important, especially for a shooter. A lot of it depends on his confidence.
Yeah.
So if he has the confidence from his like two big stars, I think that bodes well for him. And then,
so you'd say you like Joe Harris as a lock? You'd call him a lock?
Yeah, he's probably like my favorite cheap play on the slate.
Okay. Lock him in.
What is he on DraftKings? He's 4.8, which is a bit more. But on FanDuel, he's definitely a lock.
4.3, yeah.
Yeah, and then we have this player, Nick Batum, is tough to gauge what he's going to do. We had him projected as starting. That's why he has a higher projection. 17.5 right now. But if he's not starting, it's probably going to fall a bit. Like, he used to be a really good player back in Portland. Used to get all the blocks and steals, assists. He did it all. But now it's the ghost of Nick Batum. Like,
he was good on.
We don't want to touch Nick Batum, especially if he's not starting.
Well, he's minimum price though. Do you think he'd be a decent GPP play especially if he's confirmed starting?
Well, if he's starting, he's probably going to pop in optimals. Right now, he's popping in our optimals on FanDuel because he's minimum price, and it helps you get guys like Kyrie, Steph, AD, KD.
So then, you're pretty much only if he's starting, you'd be interested in him?
Yeah, like, if he's not starting, I don't want to touch him.
If he's not starting, who do you think's going to take? Like, who could start instead of him?
Well, they're playing bigs. Well, according to NBA TV, they have the starting lineup of the two big guys instead, Ibaka and Zubac. So he's starting over Zoo, which is, so Zoo is starting over Batum, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
do you think,
I don't think I want to touch Batum.
Okay, so do you think whoever starts will get more minutes in that game, pretty much?
Between the two of them?
Yeah, between the two of them.
Well, I think they want to match the bigs of the Lakers.
Okay.
Because the Lakers have AD, who's going to play probably most of the game.
Yeah.
And then they have Gasol, who's going to split minutes with Harrell. So I don't think there's going to be much room for Batum to play with the starting lineup. Like, he'll probably get 20 to 24 minutes if he's coming off the bench. Yeah.
Okay. Do power forward. What do you like here?
obviously Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant. Anthony Davis, he looked great as well. KD looked great. I probably want to lock them both. But we have an interesting player here with Eric Pascal.
Yeah.
I think we project him to start. And if he's starting, we just have to hope he gets the minutes. Because he's 4.9 on Fanduel. Do you know his price on DK?
No, I don't have it open now. Just Fanduel.
He's 3.8 on DK, so he's chalk on DK. He's probably a lock on DK, especially if he's starting. We should get the news within the next hour. So yeah, I like Pascal a lot. Serge Ibaka, wouldn't play him in cash, but I like him in GPPs. He looked pretty good in the preseason as well. I know I'm saying that a lot, but it's a 2-game slate. The best players, they looked good. Like, I don't have anything negative to say about these guys. Maybe Kyle Kuzma. How do you feel about Kyle Kuzma?
I know he's quite popular, but
popular on the TikTok?
Well, people seem to like him, but I don't know. I don't really like. I never liked playing Kyle Kuzma on.
Yeah, like, he's scoring dependent, right?
Yeah, like he busts a lot quite often. He's not. I don't know. I mean, if he gets a lot of minutes and like the starters are out, then I think I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, he's always a great play when LeBron and AD are out, but if they're in, he kind of gets pushed to the side. Doesn't get a lot of.
Yeah, because if they're not in, like if the stars aren't in there, like I think his usage jumps up quite a bit, right?
Yeah, and then
his price is pretty
Marquis Chris. I had a question about Marquis Chris in the Discord earlier.
Oh yeah, do you have that open?
No, well, I don't know what to do with Marquis Chris. Like, they're probably too deep to consider him in 20 entry max contests.
Yeah.
If you're max entering the 150 entry max GPP, I would get a few shares of him. Like, if he gets minutes, he has the upside to put up a double-double, get some steals, get some blocks.
Yeah, because in the GPPs, you typically would want some of the lower ownership guys, a few of them in your lineup to take one down. So someone like Marquis Chris would be, we have him at 5.7%. If he does well, that should be enough to kind of separate you from the field.
Yeah, if you have Marquis Chris and he gets you like 35 and then the rest, and then you have like a pretty chalky lineup around him.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't
probably
need to go too crazy in the GPPs. I think it's like the trick is mostly chalk and then one or two.
Yeah, because the goal is to get a unique lineup, is to create a unique lineup. So you're not duped with anyone. If you hit the top prize, it's all yours.
Yeah.
So Marquis Chris is pretty interesting. Jeff Green is someone right below him. He's 3.5 on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Jeff Green. So they had like 5 minutes in the preseason where they ran a lineup with Jeff Green at the 5. He looked pretty good. He had a poster on. I forget who it was, but it was really nice, and he looked pretty good out there running with the starting unit. So I would probably take a few shots on him as well, just in case they move away from Jarrett Allen and DeAndre Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Might sound ugly, but yeah, it could be worth the flyer. And then Patrick Patterson. No way I'm touching Patrick Patterson.
Yeah, former Raptor. I know you don't like the Raptor players that much.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But yeah, I think that does it for power forward.
Alright, let's do center, and then I guess we can go over some construction, how to use the tool, and kind of put everything together, what we talked about. I think that's a good overview of what we have in the tool. What do you like at center?
So center is tough. Center is ugly. We have Montrezl Harrell. So for the Lakers, we have Harrell and Gasol, who are going to split minutes. So, like I was talking about earlier with the player groups, we would set one with both of these guys in it. We would make it so each lineup has a maximum of one of these guys. You don't have to do it now, but
Yeah.
But yeah. And then same thing for Brooklyn. They have DeAndre Jordan and Jarrett Allen. They don't play together. They split minutes. They're never on the floor together. So we would have the same thing. Yeah, just like that. And then Wiseman, he's the question mark of the slate. He's starting.
Mm-hmm. He didn't play in the preseason.
Yeah, so he didn't play an NBA game at all.
So
we don't know how many minutes he's
under him. So he might not get that many minutes, right? Even though he's starting? Or do you think it's just because he's a rookie, he might not get minutes?
Well, I just don't know what to expect with him. Like, I think it's a good chance for him to break the slate as well. Like, if he gets, 28 minutes, I assume he's a good fantasy point per minute guy.
Yeah.
Just because he was the second pick. So they probably do want to see what they have in him. But I wouldn't expect like 35 minutes from him to start the year.
If there was a game for Wiseman to play a lot of minutes and get a lot of usage, would Draymond Green being out be that game, or would they require more people to be out?
Well, I think it depends more on who they're going against. So I think this is a good matchup for him because the Brooklyn Nets should always have one of DeAndre Jordan or Jarrett Allen on the court. So unless they do the Jeff Green at the 5 lineup that we were talking about earlier, it's probably a decent matchup for him. We just don't know how many minutes he's gonna get.
You like Wiseman more if Allen or Jordan are on, right?
Yeah, if they're on the court.
Would you consider making a group with Wiseman like that? Like if only have him in if Allen or Jordan are in there?
I would make one with Jeff Green and Jarrett or what's his name?
Wiseman?
James Wiseman, yeah. So I would make a group with them just because I don't think Wiseman would get a lot of run if the Brooklyn Nets move to the Jeff Green at the 5 starting lineup. But there's a low chance that that's going to happen, so
yeah,
I think we're spending a bit too much time on that.
Okay. Okay, what do you want to go over now? Do you want to do the same thing for DraftKings, or you just want to...
Yeah, we can talk about DraftKings a little bit.
Okay. Open up PK. Okay. I guess we can do this a bit quicker, same players.
Yeah, so same thing at point guard. It's pretty ugly, but we have Dinwiddie here. He's shooting guard on Fanduel. Other than that, there's no one. It's just Curry and Irving, so I think you got to play at least one of them in every lineup. If you're playing optimals, you're probably going to have both because they're so cheap compared to the other good plays.
Curry and Irving?
Yeah. And then I think it's easier if you sort it by projection instead of salary because then you get Draymond Green who's not playing.
Yeah, we can do that.
So yeah, Curry and Irving, I think that's it for point guard.
Okay. What do you think of the shooting guard on DraftKings? What do you like here?
One sec. Let me load this up. So we got Kawhi shooting guard eligible, which is kind of weird, but he's 9.1k. So I don't love that when we have Steph Curry for 9.3 and Kyrie for 8.5.
Yeah.
So I don't love Kawhi today too much. Paul George 7.8 is really nice as well. You get the 3-point bonus on DraftKings, which helps him.
Sorry, what bonus?
The 3-pointer bonus. You get 0.5 points for every 3-pointer. And then, yeah, so I like Paul George a lot. Down a bit. Wiggins, 7k, decent. Yeah, LeVert is too expensive for me.
Pardon?
Karis LeVert is too expensive on DraftKings for me. He's 6'5", and he's not starting. Skip these guys. If you see, go to Luke Canard. He's only 3.6. So
yeah, we have him.
Can you sort it by point per dollar?
Point per dollar, yeah.
He's probably one of the top guys, right? Oh, maybe not.
Number 5, 4.41.
Yeah, there's probably not a lot of cheap guys. Like these teams are pretty top heavy in terms
if you look
of
at the salary, he's the cheaper
So
one here.
yeah, so what's his point per dollar? I can't see it. It's blocked by the camera.
4.41.
Yeah, so that's decent for today's slate. So
For salary relief.
yeah, so I like Canard a lot on DraftKings specifically.
Cash and GPP?
Cash and GPP.
Yeah, I feel like for GPP, it's good to have like a cheap guy in there that is quite, I guess, chalky and is good value. That always helps, I think, clear up your salary for other plays, and then I think that helps a lot.
I'm just running some of our optimals quickly. So in the top 10, we have Luke Canard in 40% of the lineups. So yeah, he should be pretty popular.
Okay. Let's do small
relief.
forward. What do you like here?
I think LeBron is too expensive. Like I said, we have Steph Curry and Kyrie who we're going to be prioritizing. So I don't love LeBron today. In the mid-range, we have Oubre and Wiggins. I like them a lot. They're in the good game environment like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Karis LeVert, I don't want to play Karis LeVert. Joe Harris, he's probably the lowest I would go here
in terms of
small
salary?
Forward. Yeah. Well, it's hard to say because on DraftKings, they all have multi-positions. So Luke Canard is here as well. I like Luke Canard, obviously, like we were just talking about at shooting guard.
Yeah.
But like specific guys that we haven't talked about yet, there's not really anyone here at small forward who I would want to include in my builds.
Okay, let's do power forward then. Who do you like here, power forward?
So these, I keep saying the same thing, but these guys are more expensive than KD and Steph Curry and Kyrie. Like Anthony Davis 10K, Kevin Durant 9.8. I would much rather play the 2-point guards in my build and go from there and build it out with like mid-range plays.
A bit safer, yeah.
Yeah, this is like, it's more stars and scrubs, and we don't really have the scrubs today because these teams are top heavy, like I was saying.
Yeah.
One guy here, we were talking about him earlier, Eric Pascal. He's only 3.8 on DK. He's probably going to be in 100% of optimals.
Yeah, we have him pretty high projected.
Yeah. What's his point per dollar?
Pardon?
What's his point per dollar?
Point per dollar is that's 6.3. That's high. That's yeah.
Yeah, so
pretty sure he'd be in every build.
Next highest is what?
4.96.
Who was that?
Montrez.
Yeah, so he's probably going to be in all our builds. Eric Pascal.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, below that, Jeff Green, like we were talking about on Fanduel, maybe if you want to take some shots with him, I don't hate it, but
sounds more like a GPP play, not a cash play, right?
Definitely not a cash play. And then we can move on to center.
Okay.
Center on DraftKings is a little more manageable because we have AD here.
Yeah. By salary.
Yeah, so we have AD here. I don't know if I would play AD in my cash lineup because it probably means we need more low salary guys. We just don't have a lot today. We have Canard and we have Pascal as the main ones on DraftKings.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be tough to get him. I don't know. Center is really ugly to me. Like, there's no one that stands out.
I like Wiseman. It's not ugly. I like that. I like that 7.95% ownership for GPP.
Yeah. Well, honestly, we might have to go AD because this position is just awful. On Fanduel, we have to pick one. We're probably gonna play DeAndre, but on DraftKings, this is pretty ugly. They're more expensive. Yeah, it's not a good position.
Okay, so let's just see. In terms of like the top heavy players, I guess you have, like, where would you cut it off? Kyrie Irving, 8.5?
Let me see on mine.
Paul
One
George,
sec.
7-8. Like I'm just looking at all positions on DK.
Yeah. So if you just hover over Paul George, and we can use that as the marker. So everyone above Paul George is like a high-end play, right? So if we're picking between these guys, it makes the most sense to get the cheapest ones because they all project relatively well. Between Irving, Curry, Paul George, maybe Kawhi is decent, but
Well, I guess we can look at the point per dollar here. Of these plays, the highest point per dollar we have is Curry, number 1.
yeah.
5.24.
But I don't want to sit here and say like I like everyone, so I'm just gonna say on DraftKings I like Paul George, I like Kyrie, and I like Steph Curry. Like I would use those guys as the building blocks of my DraftKings teams. And then if we need to force in AD because center is so awful, I don't hate that, but other than that, I would just stick to the guys I mentioned.
Okay. Should we see what our optimal throws out right now? Actually,
yeah, just maybe refresh it and do it.
Refresh.
Just build 10 lineups or 20 lineups just like that with no settings. And see what it spits out. This is DraftKings, correct?
Yeah, DK. And then afterwards we can do Fanduel.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, go to the players card so we can see some exposure. So yeah, Steph Curry, Pascal, Kyrie, almost all in 100% of lineups.
Well, let me just quickly maybe just explain
it.
How
how
the tool kind of works. So after you build your lineups, your multi-lineups, they all show up here. And then in the sidebar, we have this tool that kind of shows you a overview of what actually happened. So you can actually see like over here the player names. You can sort it by the positions. And you can actually see like the actual percentage will show you of the lineups built, what percentage of those lineups the player is in compared to our projected ownership right there. So like over here, you can see Curry, we haven't projected on DraftKings as 44%, but in our tool, all the lineups spit out Steph Curry just because his value, like Chris said, is a good play today. So we have him here at 100%. And then we also have Eric Pascal 100%, which is interesting.
A cool thing I want to mention on this card, you can actually click on the minimum percent, and you can just adjust it here. So you don't have to keep going back and forth through your player pool to adjust it. You can just adjust it in that, like you can stay on the lineups tab.
Yeah.
And then just adjust it from that card, which is pretty cool. I don't think you could do that anywhere else.
Yeah, which is quite useful because sometimes, like if you're building a lot of lineups.
Yeah, you can just set the number, rebuild, see what it spits out. If it spits out something you don't like, you can, like, let's say you don't like Montrezl Harrell, you can cap him at what, 30%?
Yeah, at the field, project ownership.
Yeah, and you can just do it right there quickly and manage it that way. But here, wait, I just want to talk about something quickly. We have some news. We got some starting lineups for the first game.
Oh, yeah?
So for Brooklyn, they're starting Irving, Dinwiddie, Harris, Durant, and DeAndre Jordan. So that's as we expected, so no changes there. Warriors, Curry, Oubre, Wiggins, Pascal, and Wiseman. And Wiseman is going to play in short spurts, according to Steve Kerr. So
typically not cash. You don't want to hear short spurts when you're thinking cash, right?
I mean, it's probably okay because of his price, but yeah, you definitely don't want to hear that if you're playing an expensive guy.
When you hear short spurts, does that kind of does that put like a minutes cap in your head? Like, do you think he'll only get to like 20 minutes, 30 minutes? Like, 30 is obviously a lot, but...
Yeah, I would say he's probably going to play 24 max.
24 max.
Like probably 4-minute spurts. Like play 4 minutes, 4 minutes, play 4 minutes, 4 minutes.
How many minutes would you say he would have to get for him to be like a good play? This is hard to say because you haven't seen
It's
him
hard.
play yet.
I've never seen him play like in college or anywhere, so it's hard for me to say. I don't know what he does well. Like I think he's really good at blocking shots.
He's athletic, right? Really athletic.
I think so, but I don't know. I don't want to just.
That's what I heard
assume.
too. I think blocking. He's good at getting his blocks.
Yeah, but yeah, this lineup is as we expected. So we have so nothing changes with this starting lineup.
Okay, that's good. So then we have the starting lineups for the first game and not the second. There's still no news there, right?
Well, yeah, we're not going to get that until like 30 minutes before that game starts. So I think we have all the news that we're going to have. Yeah, leading to lock.
Yeah, and I guess after the lock, after the show in our Discord, we usually I guess.
Yeah.
Tell
If you guys have any questions, I'm always in Discord, so you could just tag me in the NBA channel and I'll answer anything.
Anyway, I guess back to this player's card here. The way I use it when I play GPP is like looking at the actual ownership and the projected ownership. If you have like 100% actual ownership on a player, and then the projected ownership is 44, that means you're 2 times as heavy compared to the field on that player, right? So it's like that's a pretty big edge if that player does well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it just depends on how you feel. Like if you don't like a player and you play him, like say it's a 30% player and you put him at 15 cap maximum percentage, that means you're like half as exposed as everyone else. So
yeah, so you're under the field.
Yeah, under the field. So if that player doesn't do well, that actually puts you in a better position just because you limited your exposure to that player relative to the field. So that's always important to consider when you're looking at this card.
But what I want to add to that is, for my GPP strategy, if I want to go underweight on someone and put him at 15%, I might as well just put him at 0. Like, if I think he's going to do poorly, I don't want him in 15% of my builds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would just want to fade him completely and just stay away.
Yeah.
Because I don't see a reason to be, like, underweight at 15%. Because if he does well, I'm probably screwed. And if he doesn't do well, I'm good because I don't have him.
Well, I guess it also depends, like, how many good plays there are in that position, too, right?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So
like on a 2-game slate, it's hard to fade anyone, especially a cheap guy, because there's not a lot of good value that we project to come through.
Yeah, I feel like on a 2-game slate, you sort of like your advantage is sort of to have like a drastic difference on the field in your multi-entries. Like you can't just do like if someone's projected at like 20% and you put him at 40, like I don't think that's going to do too much on a 2-game slate as opposed to on a larger slate.
Yeah.
So you'd probably be better off if you like that player to just put him quite a bit higher than the field, because you'll notice a bigger impact on your lineups that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want
to? We can build a 20 entry max build, but first I just want to say we're running a giveaway on Twitter. Once we reach 100 YouTube subscribers, I think we're at 10 right now. So once we reach 100, we're going to give away a monthly pass to someone who retweets our pinned tweet.
Yeah,
so
monthly.
If you haven't done that, retweet it. If you haven't subscribe to us. Give us a thumbs up. It helps a lot.
What do you think about existing subscribers? If they get it, should we give them a discount? 100%?
No, they just got a free month.
Free month?
Yeah.
So even if you're already a subscriber, you can still get something out of that. So everyone participate.
Yes.
You
want to start on Fanduel or DraftKings with the 20 entry max build?
I mean, on Fanduel, are there any good 20 entry contests? Like if you're doing GPP there, it's usually a bigger contest, right?
Yeah, we can start on DraftKings. I think there's a few.
DraftKings, there's a few good 20 entries. I'm in them.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. Do you want to do cash or you don't want to do cash? I mean,
it's hard to do cash on a 2-game slate, so I think we should focus on GPP for today.
okay. Let's do this 20 build. What's the first thing you like to do, Chris?
So I like to look at the optimals like we were just at. So can you go back to that? Do you have Montrez? Where's Montrez Harrell? Just reset him.
Yeah, I did reset him. He's 0.
Okay, yeah, so just looking at it, we can see that we have Curry, Pascal, Irving, Ibaka, Harris as our highest ownership guys.
Yeah.
I mean, this build looks good to me. I don't know how much I would change. But let's go back to the player groups and see what we have there.
You don't like to get freaky with the optimizer. You just trust the projections.
Yeah, especially NBA projections. NBA projections are awesome.
They're really good. Yeah, our team makes it quite easy actually to play. You don't really have to know too much about the sport to do well if you manage your bankroll and enter the right contest. It's really straightforward and easy.
Yes. Okay, so for player groups, let's create some that will negatively correlate. So let's do those centers that we had earlier. Gasol and Harrell. So any lineup that has Gasol, we don't want it to have Harrell, and vice versa. So you set the slider to 0 to 1.
Yep.
Yeah. And then let's add a new one. Let's do one for Brooklyn.
Well,
let's do Jared Allen.
Just maybe put a bit of emphasis on how this works.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to do it? Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, the range... So this group, the rule that you set will be in every lineup that is generated. So if you generate 100 lineups, every lineup you build will follow this rule. So if you set the rule to 2 to 4, well, we only have 2 players in here, so it's kind of tough to do.
That'll just mean everyone here is in every lineup.
Yeah, that would mean Harrell and Gasol are in every lineup. But if we have a group of, 5 players, yeah, as you can see, Harrell and Gasol are in every lineup.
You can see here as well, 100.
Yeah. But if you have a group of, let's say, 5 players that you really like, just add a new group. Set that one to 0 to 1. The first one, yeah. So, let's go with cheap guys that we like low-owned cheap guys, yeah?
Yeah, let's do it. I'll sort by value on the tool, so do it like that.
Okay, so we got Pat Bev, Batum. Wait 1 sec.
Yeah, I'll add them. Okay, Bev, Batum.
Let's add Canard. Let's add Jeff Green. We were talking about him earlier. Eric Pascal, who I think is a lock. But yeah, so now we have this group of 5 guys who are low priced, and we can set the range so every lineup includes 3 to 5, I guess. So every lineup will have at least 3 of these guys. And yeah, so that will give you builds that include more of the high range guys because you have the salary savings from this second group that we created. So now you can see we're getting a lot of Steph Curry, Kyrie like before, but now we're adding in Anthony Davis to a lot of builds. We're adding LeBron James to a lot of builds. So now we're just getting more studs. So we're making it more stars and scrubs with this rule.
Yeah.
For this group that we set.
So you also said before that you didn't want to play Green with someone else, right?
Yeah, but I don't think Green and Wiseman... I mean, yeah, you can add the group. Groups are always good to add, especially... I think that would matter more if we're entering 150. But in the top 20, that combination won't show up.
So you would just do Green, Wiseman, and then 0,
0 to 1.
1.
Yeah, and then we can set a few more.
Negative correlation or just groups that you like?
Yeah, negative correlation. Let me just take a look. Did you set the Jarrett Allen, DeAndre Jordan one?
Not here, no.
Yeah, so do that, and then 0 to 1.
Done.
And then let's do one with, I think I was talking about this earlier, with Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie. Because Karis LeVert comes off the bench and comes in for Dinwiddie most of the time, they don't play together. So if one of them succeeds, the likelihood that the other one succeeds is pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're trying to take down the contest, you need the optimal plays. Like, you need the guys who perform the best. So you don't want them together. Is there anyone else in the builds that you see that you would think negatively correlate? Like, one of them that I see is Montrez and AD maybe, but they play together, but they kind of cannibalize the rebounds.
The two of
So
them?
I don't know if, yeah, having them together, I don't know if that's...
Well, let's see. Oh, by the way, for anyone who uses the tool, we added a multiple chain search thing, so you can actually search like more than one player name in your player pool, and also in the lineups just by adding. I don't know what this character is called. It's like
above the enter key, right?
Huh?
Above the enter key?
Yeah, above the enter key, that key.
Yeah.
Press shift and press that key, and then you could just do like multiple searches. So you can actually, it'll highlight all the lineups that have that, so you can actually quickly see that. It's quite useful. Someone's asking, do you say it's tough to play cash tonight because it's only 2 games? John is asking.
Um,
Or you say definitely play lighter, right? On smaller slates, that's your general rule of thumb.
yeah, so on these slates, on these 2-game slates, you're going to have a lot of duplicated lineups if you're playing optimals in cash games, which is like, it's not good to have a duplicated lineup with someone else in the same contest. So the profit margins are lower, and if one of your guys fails that's like 50% owned, you're probably not gonna cash. I don't know. I just don't love playing these slates for cash. Like, on these 2-game opening day slates, I usually hunt for overlay. That's my strategy.
Overlays, yeah. I mean, it's all about bankroll management, right? And part of that is like deciding what days you want to play lighter, what contest you play. That's just as important as like just having good knowledge in the sport and having good projections and knowing what to do. But bankroll management is something that you have to do on your own, but it's equally important.
Yeah, and contest selection is key. We could probably do a video on that at another point, or just go into depth about it in another video.
Bankroll management, yeah, I think that'd be good actually.
And contest selection,
People ask that quite often.
Yeah.
Okay,
so let's finish this DK build. Let's do a Fanduel build. Then we can get to some questions, and then I think we can wrap it up.
Yep.
So with this DK build, do you want to add any more player groups? Do you want to adjust some exposures? What do you think?
I think it's good. I mean, there's a lot of groups. I personally I don't use player groups that much, but I actually like adding I really like adding the negative correlation groups. I like that more than adding like,
exposure rules.
Yeah, kind of like this one here. Whoops.
Yeah, we can remove that one. That was just an example of when it would be more than when we would set the range at 2 and then end it at 5.
Yeah, and I feel like this one would be more impactful on like a larger slate as well, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, I think the negative correlation groups are really good. I like those.
Yeah, and then let's see the exposures for this build.
Build again?
Yeah, build again, and let's see what we have, and then we can adjust some of the exposures to players that we don't like or players that we like.
Okay.
Okay, so some of these, like, these guys that we have in like 10% of lineups, I don't love. So I think we can probably exclude guys like Batum, guys like Lou Williams. I said I don't like him earlier.
So when you exclude, would you just exclude here, or would you just put max 0%?
I would actually exclude them.
You don't like Batum? You don't like... What was that again? Williams?
Yeah, Lou Will. And then, yeah, just exclude those two. I don't want to see them in any builds. We're seeing a lot of Ibaka. It's because center was ugly, like I was saying earlier. But I think we were talking about Jeff Green. I kind of want to get Jeff Green in a few of the lineups. So if you go to Jeff Green, we can maybe set him to like 15 to 20%. Yeah.
15 to 20, yeah, that's at minimum triple the field. So
Yeah.
that if he does well, that would have a good impact on your lineups.
Yes. I think we could also... Let's get AD into more builds. I like AD. Yeah, so maybe set him at like 60%.
Minimum?
Yeah. And then build it and see what it gives us.
Alright. Let's see. $30 players.
So now wait, can you stay at the top?
Yep.
So now we're getting more AD, getting a little less Kyrie.
Still quite a bit, but yeah. Still over the field.
Yeah. What do you think about setting a group where we don't include PG and Kawhi in the same lineup?
Paul George and Kawhi?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like...
What do you think they both could get there?
Well, if you had them both in a lineup, like they'd both have to probably get, what, like 45 for that lineup to do well?
Well, we're trying to take down the 20 entry max, so we're trying to get ceiling games and eliminate floor games. So I think the likelihood of them both
well?
having ceiling games is low compared to the likelihood of one of them having a ceiling game and one of them having a decent game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that. Yeah.
So I would also say LeBron and AD in another group, Kyrie and KD in another group. Let's just see what that gives us.
Oops. Oh.
And then LeBron and AD. I think all the same rules apply to Fanduel, so I don't think we need to go over Fanduel. Like, it's the same strategy for the most part, especially for the groups that we're setting.
I think we can actually only set 5 right now.
Oh, we'll have to fix that.
Yeah, it has to be fixed.
Did you do it?
Well, I can only add 5 right now.
Okay, that's fine then. Let's see. Try building. See what it gives us.
We'll fix that so you can add more. There shouldn't be a limit there.
Yeah, but if we were doing that with the top guys, the point of that is to try and get the ceiling guy from each team. So if we get the ceiling guy from the Clippers between Paul George and Kawhi, that's good. If we get the ceiling guy from the Lakers between Davis and LeBron, that's what we want. And then the same thing for Brooklyn with Kyrie and KD.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so let's see these.
I think these rules make a lot more sense on these smaller slates too.
Yeah, if you're doing rules on the bigger slates, you need like 20 to 30.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to get that cap removed.
So this is your starting point, I guess, not quite, a bit more than starting point for your GPP on DraftKings, right?
Yeah, I really like this. I think like as it is right here, like I'm just looking through the lineups. I don't really see anyone that I don't like in these lineups. Like we're not getting much negative correlation between players.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
super
pretty good.
important in these small slates. Because
Well, any slate you don't want negative correlation, and we're trying to win first place with this build. Like we're not just trying to min cash.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Do you
think
want to do
same thing for Fanduel. So
a
do you want to
Fanduel?
go over it?
Yeah, let's do it. Refresh it. Okay, so starting point, I guess we can do the same thing. Just see the
Just
value
run
is.
20 optimals.
Yeah, let me see if I have any player groups from before. Okay, this is Fanduel. We have 100% Curry on Fanduel, 85 Durant, 75 Paul George, 75 Harris, 70 Irving, and then 70 Wiggins.
Yeah, so this is interesting because on DraftKings we're getting no KD because he's 9.8k. So on FanDuel we can sort of hedge our exposure because he's going to pop up in most builds. He's only 8.5. He was getting like 3 blocks per game in the preseason. So you get 3 points for blocks and steals on FanDuel compared to 2 on DK.
Yeah.
So he's definitely a really strong play on FanDuel. So we want a lot of him. Same with Steph, Kyrie as well. LeBron's not popping at all because he's just more expensive than these guys, and they all project pretty close to each other. Maybe someone we could just remove because most people hate him. We could remove Paul George.
Well, what do you think about Batum here being 50%? Kind of pops out to me.
It depends on who's starting. Like the starting lineup that I saw was projected by NBA TV, so it's not like from the beat writer.
Yeah.
It's not from the coach, so it's something to keep an eye on for the late game. Like that's probably my biggest decision point of the slate. What to do with Nick Batum on FanDuel?
Yeah, cash and GPP.
Yeah,
what about
mostly cash.
Is there late swap this year on FanDuel?
Yeah, there is.
There is? Okay, so you can actually adjust your lineups after lock. Good to know. So you wouldn't mind keeping him high up here, even though we're not sure about that yet, because you can switch.
No. Let's remove him. I don't want to play Nick Batum in my GPPs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's remove him then. Okay.
And then let's limit Paul George a bit. Let's make him let's make his max exposure like 30%.
30%, so that's under the field. He's about 50% projected.
Yeah. And then let's rebuild and see what comes up.
And then after this, we can do some questions and answers, Q&A.
Yeah.
Through Discord, if you guys are in there. We'll go through those first, I guess, and then YouTube as well. YouTube chat. If you guys have any questions about our tool or what players or whatever you want, just write them in the chat.
So this is the new build, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a lot of the Brooklyn Nets guys. Yeah, as you can see, the top, 6 guys come from the game with the higher over-under.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the game to target. And then we have AD, Schroeder.
What do you think of Schroeder at double the field? Are you okay with that?
I don't hate it. Like, he's sort of a question mark. We don't know his minutes because he was hurt. He had the ankle injury during the preseason, so he didn't play the last few games. But if he does play like 30 minutes, I really like that. Like, what do we have him projected for? 23.5?
23, which is 4.74 value
so,
per 1K.
So if he plays like 30 minutes, we can probably bump the projection up to, I don't know, 25. And then rebuild and see what he comes up in.
Well, yeah, right away his value. He's the best value player. Right,
yeah, so he's going to come up in like probably 70 to 80% of lineups.
Which, if that is correct, that'd be a good hedge to take on the field, right? Because
yeah, so there's 75%. So if I have a feeling that Dennis Schroeder is going to play 30 minutes, like his injury isn't a problem, and he's going to get 25 fantasy points, then I don't mind playing him in 75% of my lineups.
Yeah, big. Is that a big if though? The minutes.
I mean, like I said, this is a 20 entry max. We're not trying to min cash. So.
Oh yeah, for Fanduel, what do the GPP contests look like today?
I don't know if they have any more for 20 entry max, but they're. Wait, let's check out this overlay. It was 50% when we started the show for the big contest. Now it's at 57%. So there's still a ton of overlay, a ton of free money.
Yeah.
In this
$3
big
entry,
contest.
right?
Yeah, $3 entry. I think all the 20 entry max stuff is full.
Yeah, so you'd be in. There's
strategy.
Some 10 entry ones that are $33 entry fee.
Do you want to build 150 and see what comes up with the current stuff that we have?
Yeah, let's try.
Yeah, so if we're playing in this huge contest with 1 million slots, 500k right now.
Yeah.
Which our entire goal is to be unique. Like, if we have a unique lineup and it busts completely, we don't care. Our entire goal is to be unique. We don't want any dupes, because if we have the optimal team at the end of the night, we want to solo ship it.
Yeah, you don't want to share.
Yeah.
One setting that I like, I don't know if you use it, but I used it when I first started working on the tool, is the lineup ownership rules. I guess we can show that afterwards this is done.
Do you want to explain how it works?
Pardon?
While we wait?
Yeah,
Do you
so
want to
this
explain
one,
how it works?
basically, you can set rules based on the ownerships that we have. So if you go here, and you look at the projected ownerships, this is shooting guards go all. If you look at the ownerships, you can see here like 49, 18%. If you go to the second page, see it drops down 2%, and past that 1%. So what you can do here is you can actually, what Chris said, like you're looking to make unique lineups here to win, right? So you can actually include in every lineup that you have one player that has a maximum projected ownership of whatever percent you choose. So if you want to have one player that's under 10% projected, which would be everyone right here, all these guys. And
so in every build in every lineup that's generated, one player would be
below 10% ownership.
So in every lineup that's generated, you'll have one player below 10% ownership.
Yeah. I think this would probably work a bit better on the larger slates where there's more ownership projections, this setting here. But
I think it's good here too because it helps you get unique.
Yeah,
all lineups must require one player with 10% ownership or lower. So yeah, because like I was saying, your entire goal is to be unique in this big contest. So yeah, saying that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, like before, I used to set like, well, you can actually set multiple rules. So you could do like 2 guys and then put like 20% ownership here, or maybe even a bit higher. Like you could put 30%. And one rule for 10%, and that'll just make your lineup. I think just these 2 quick rules here will make it a lot less chalky, and you play around with this, it'll kind of give you quick way to differentiate your lineups from other people.
Yeah, but obviously I wouldn't use this rule today because the players that are 10% or lower, they're probably really bad because the value is going to be higher owned. Like you're probably going to get plays like Damian Lee, Alex Caruso.
Yeah.
If you set that rule today.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, like I said, I think it's a better setting. Like I've had more success with it when it's a larger slate. It works a bit better because there's more projections and like there's more distribution in the player pool and ownerships. But I guess like another thing you could do here, because you could actually, if you did that and you don't want to have like people who aren't getting enough projected points, you could actually switch over here the minimum projection.
Yeah.
So
But
that would
then,
actually make it
I think
like
if you do that, you'll get a bunch of the same players.
yeah.
Like if Alex Caruso is projected over 10, and he's the only player projected over 10 that's under 10%,
Yeah.
you got 100% Alex Caruso.
Yeah. So I think these settings for sure work better on the larger slates, but it's an interesting setting to use. It's quite fun as well.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the 150 build that we created. It didn't have that rule.
Yeah.
So yeah, Steph Curry seems like a lock today. We're getting 60% Schroeder because we bumped his projection to 25. Like this is a decent build here.
Do you like this as is?
I would probably bump LeBron up. Like I don't want to have less than 10% exposure to LeBron. Like LeBron can always
Where do we have
do his thing.
Where is he?
He's probably not there because he's
we
he
don't even
projects.
have him here.
Yeah, because he's too expensive.
What would you put him at?
Let's just put him with the field, 35.
Match the field. Okay, anything else? We don't have any player groups here.
No, I think that's fine. Like, if we were setting player groups, we would do the same thing as
DraftKings?
Yeah, we would just select players who negatively correlate.
Okay, let's build this lineup and then we can go over Q&A quickly and then wrap it up for today.
We can go over Q&A now while we wait for the build.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions on Discord, let us know. Or if you're on YouTube and you have questions, now's the time. I think we do have one actually from Aiden. He's asking, last piece on Fanduel GPP, Wiseman or Jordan?
I would say Wiseman, just because there's more room for upside.
For GPP.
Jordan's going to split minutes with Jarrett Allen. So, like, we can get, even though Wiseman's playing short spurts, like, maybe he'll get lucky and he'll play more. Because it's a GPP question.
Yeah, and Wiseman's also half the projected ownership
of
Jordan, so
if
there is upside, you'd be rewarded better. Danny Walker on YouTube's asking, how well does the optimizer do in 20 max if you run it straight with no build rules?
It does really well because in NBA projections are king, so they're super accurate, and the only problem with that is you won't get unique lineups. So you'll dupe, but you'll be successful probably. So the likelihood that you take one down is probably lower, but you'll probably min cash in at least like 10 to 15 of them if you just run them with no rules.
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, like this tool for almost every sport, like it's really easy to play sports that you have no idea about just by doing the builds by default, not configuring it. But again, like Chris said, you're not going to have that many unique lineups. If you want to do something more unique, you're going to have to tweak it a bit.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you do like negative correlations like Chris was going over, stuff like that always helps for sure.
Yeah, so like we were saying with the top guys, like LeBron and AD, Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and Paul George and what's his name, Kawhi. Like, if you set rules with those guys to only have one and then just run optimals, you'll probably have decent lineups that have a chance to be unique and also have a chance to take down, because you're searching for the ceiling guys, and with that rule you can kind of get there.
Okay, we have more questions. Peter from Discord, he's asking, do you mess with uniques or randomness for GPPs?
Personally, I don't, because like I was saying, projections are king for NBA. So I don't like to mess with randomness. And uniques, I think uniques is decent, but I would probably I would probably create player groups instead. Like, then I have more control over the build. You know what I mean? Compared to...
Yeah, I think that goes back to what I was saying. Like, the tool on its own does well, and then if you have that insight in the sport, you can kind of fine-tune it to what you know, to your knowledge, right? But if you say you might not know as much about the sport, you can quickly do like a rule like this, like the minimum ownership per lineup player rule. Something like that will kind of set your lineup apart and make it unique, and it will use our projections by default. So there's different ways of making your lineups more unique for sure.
Yeah, and as we move forward and do more shows, I think people will realize like the different ways to use it and the different ways that we use it.
Well, yeah, it'll be more interesting, I think, tomorrow as well with the bigger slate. There's a few more questions. Go over them quickly. YouTube. AJ's asking, when do you leverage game script theory over projected value?
It's hard to say. Honestly, like today, I would probably leverage game script theory more because all the players are going to be like super high owned, all the top guys. So if you have like a theory that the Golden State game will blow out and the Clippers-Lakers game will be tight, and you go underweight on the first game, even though it has the higher over-under and has more players from that game will be selected than players from the late game. So if you think that, then I think it's good to do it on a smaller slate like today. I think it's good to use game script theory.
Okay, nice answer, good answer. And then another one from Discord from Aiden. Will Jordan and Allen split minutes, or will Jordan get more since he's starting?
If I had to put a number on it, I would probably say like 28 for Jordan, 22 or 20 for Allen, maybe 26, 22, like something like that. I don't think there's going to be a drastic difference between the two, but I think that Jordan will get a little bit more just because he starts and will probably finish.
Okay, I think we have maybe one more. Aiden is typing in the Discord.
I think there was some above before.
Pardon?
I think there were some other ones in the Discord. Some earlier ones.
Oh, yeah. First question is, your real name Harry or Garry?
And we also got, here's the famous Kristen Garry in YouTube. So is it Garry? Is it Harry?
You don't know? Yeah, it's actually, well, legally it's Harry, but like I don't use that name anywhere. Everyone calls me Garry, so I guess
so the question
depends how technical you want to get.
Why was it Garry before on Discord?
Why was it? I don't know. I just had it like that.
You just entered your legal name?
Yeah, I thought I had to like KYC, kind of upload my legal documents on Discord. Has to match my real name.
Passport photo as well?
Yeah, passport photo like this, with the date written on a piece of paper. KYC. Russian spy can't give us his real first name exactly. Wait, did the Hug's asking, you guys give me a code so I can get on the stream? It was just on YouTube, so I think you should have seen it.
Yeah, I saw anything.
Like it's free on YouTube. Oh yeah, and I missed this one. NJH015. Sorry, I missed it. He says, would you recommend setting those groups if running 20 lineups tonight? I'm guessing he's talking about the groups we went over?
Yeah, the player groups.
Yeah, all those are solid, right?
I would set them.
Yeah, since we have a limit of 5 right now, we'll switch that one, increase that. But since there's a limit of 5, I guess you got to pick which ones you like the most, or maybe combine them or something.
I think if you want like the optimal teams with the groups, I would select the negatively. Like for my groups, I would select the guys like Gasol and Harrell, the guys who split minutes. So Gasol, Harrell, Jordan, Allen, guys like that, LeVert, Dinwiddie, instead of the big names.
And we got it. Someone's trolling our chat. He says something about Rondo winning a championship this year.
With the Hawks?
Yeah.
And the chip? Do I think they'll win the chip?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rondo makes the difference. Rondo wearing 7.
Clearly a troll here.
Difference maker.
I don't know about that. Anyway. They look good this year, though, the Hawks. I'm excited to watch them play.
Yeah.
They look nice.
Especially with Rondo.
Yeah, especially with Rondo. I guess no more questions, but the build finished. Do you have anything to say about this? What do you think of this one?
Let's see. Yeah, so we still have Schroeder at higher than normal because we upped his projection. Yeah, we're getting LeBron 35. I think it's decent, yeah.
You like it? Lock it in.
So the guy was asking about game script earlier. With this build, our game script kind of like we're hoping for the Golden State Brooklyn game to shoot out and like as the Vegas total projects, and then we're hoping for the Lakers Clippers game to stay lower scoring. Does that make sense? Because we have like what is that? 8 of the top 9 guys come from the Brooklyn Golden State game.
Yeah.
So we're hoping for that.
One last question for the show. Is it going to be 1 hour or 30 minutes? Usually 1 hour. I think we're aiming for 1 hour at minimum every single main slate for NBA.
Yeah, probably 1 hour.
Yeah, and then I guess we'll also figure out the format as we go on.
Yes,
kind of raw right now, but we'll figure it out. 1 hour, yeah. Okay, any closing remarks from you, Chris?
No, just keep an eye on that overlay in the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, overlay.
Get your entries in if there's some good overlay.
Yeah.
The contest on Fanduel is 60% now, so it's not feeling very fast. So keep an eye on that. What would you say is
the cap? Like, what percentage entry, like, before you consider it not worthwhile? 80%, 90%?
Yeah, probably like 90%.
90%? Okay.
I mean, it's still
good?
Still worth it, but it's not free money like it is right now.
Yeah. Okay. What else? We have in the description there's our Twitter. If you go on the DFS Crunch Twitter and you retweet our pinned tweet.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, once we reach 100 subscribers, we're giving away a free monthly pass, and even if you have a subscription now, you still get the free month. But all you have to do is retweet and like the tweet, the pinned tweet, and obviously subscribe to the YouTube and give us a thumbs up.
Literally free money, right? Because it's free money. 1, the subscription's free, and then 2, when you use the tool, it's also money.
Yeah, everything's free money.
It's better than free money. It's money tree.
Yes.
Yeah, and also just be sure to subscribe to our YouTube and like the video if you found it useful, and come back tomorrow for the slate. What time is that one?
Looks like Rajon Rondo is in our chat.
Rajon Rondo? You think that's the real one?
We were just talking about him winning the chip.
There's no game today.
Yeah. I guess he's playing DFS on the side. Okay, so yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, good luck, everyone.